What was happening in the Web3 space with Filecoin and Helium, we decided that we can take the mission of weather data and try to solve this problem by mobilizing the individual people that they care about this issue, take advantage of the latest developments in technology that enables us to manufacture affordable weather stations, basically, that are easy to deploy, energy and communication autonomous, and start building better weather infrastructure for all around the world, but especially in places that don't have much. The crypto incentives not only expand the network faster, but they also make sure that the individuals who deploy the equipment, they make a good job deploying it. We push individuals to do the best possible job that they can, essentially, without being experts, without being professional deployers.
I'm here with Manolis from WeatherXM. And I want to ask you first, what convinced you to come all the way out here to Mombasa, Kenya, to attend the DePIN Summit this year?
So we have been trying for quite some time now to expand our network in the global south. And we were lucky enough to find partners and community members, individuals that started deploying stations here in Africa, South Africa, Nairobi, here in Kenya. So we really wanted to come and see how the network is evolving, connect with the locals, and really understand the impact that our project has here, basically.
Yeah, I saw you chatting with the BLCK IoT guys yesterday who have deployed some of your stations, I think in Nairobi. But what does the footprint look like for you guys globally, and then also maybe in Africa and specifically in Kenya as well, like number of stations, kind of penetration in this market?
Yes, so we started building the network almost 2 years ago, and we have roughly 10,000 weather stations worldwide. Most of them are in the US and Europe, but roughly I think we have about 1,000 stations in Africa, and another 1,000 in India, and 400 or 500 in Latin America. And that's basically, that has been the focus of the last couple of months. We think the scarcity of weather data in these regions is higher, and the benefits basically of improved weather forecasts have a way more impact.
Definitely. Yeah, we have this saying in Miami where I live, which is like the weatherman is always wrong, especially in the summer, because you'll look at forecasts and it says it's not going to rain and then it does rain. So let's talk about WeatherXM now and kind of the mission and what you guys are building. Like, how are you all working to improve weather data accuracy, and what does that look like on the ground usually?
Yeah, so quick background on the team. We have been doing industrial IoT solutions in weather sensitive industries like energy, agriculture, aviation, logistics, and so on for almost 10 years before we pivoted into the crypto space. So we always came across this problem of not having enough real-time weather data, not having the actual truth on weather conditions, and just a simulation, just a theory that usually is what everyone is consuming on a global scale, because it's practically impossible to have a weather station next to every location that one could be interested. Traditionally, governments are in charge of those networks. So as you can imagine, the wealthier a country, the more weather infrastructure they have. And coming from Greece, we had a lot of projects there, so we just never had enough data, and we ended up deploying our own weather stations to serve the needs of our customers. And when we saw what was happening in the Web3 space with Filecoin and Helium, we decided that we can take the mission of weather data and try to solve this problem by mobilizing the individual people that they care about this issue, and just take advantage of the latest developments in technology that enables us to manufacture affordable weather stations, basically, that are easy to deploy, energy and communication autonomous, like this device here, and start building better weather infrastructure for all around the world, but especially in places that don't have much.
Yeah, it's a classic DePIN use case, I think, in the sense that you need more distribution of nodes or sensors around the world, and there's not really any reason for any company or government or individuals to purchase that hardware and deploy it unless there's like an incentive and kind of an economy they can buy into and participate in. So,
well, I think the crypto incentive dramatically accelerates this transition. It's not that the industry already existed, so weather stations as products exist. They are consumer-grade professional products out there with similar price to ours, slightly more expensive. But the crypto element accelerates the adoption, the deployment, but also unlocks new opportunities that were not possible before. And that's one of the reasons why we're also the manufacturer of the hardware, because we want to make sure that the hardware is crypto enabled, basically, which is not the case with all the other weather stations.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, my dad had a like mini weather station in our backyard so we could get hyper local weather data, but like he probably wasn't contributing that data to anyone else, right? So that's where the incentive comes in, and that's where it becomes valuable to have, even though you have hardware out in the real world that people might buy for themselves, that you need to aggregate that into a service that people can use. So
I think in the last 10 years, a lot of companies, manufacturers, they realize the value of creating those network effects and aggregating data. So there are a couple of projects out there, companies, actually private companies, the most popular one being Weather Underground, that that aggregate consumer grade weather stations without any incentives. The problem there is that there's no reason to ensure that there's high quality of data. At least there's no mechanism to do that. So the crypto incentives not only expand the network faster, but they also make sure that the individuals who deploy the equipment, they make a good job deploying it. So because we have created algorithms that try to detect if everything is okay with the station, if there are obstacles casting shadows and so on. And when we detect that, we penalize the rewards. So the result is that we push individuals to do the best possible job that they can, essentially, without being experts, without being professional deployers. And that's the outcome. There is the network result, basically, and the data quality result is very, very different from enthusiast networks, basically, that existed in the past.
So you said you're at around 10,000 nodes globally. What does full global coverage look like for you guys in terms of number of nodes, and then also maybe how do you get there? What's the go-to-market like?
Yeah, so we did a scientific analysis on this using meteorological criteria, landscape, land use, and so on. And the number we landed was actually quite large, 30 million stations to cover just the land all around the world. So this is a theoretical number, and it's going to be impossible to reach.
That would be perfect coverage. So.
But this is like, in ideal conditions, how many stations we need to cover the entire Earth and take into account all the microclimate zones that we model based on that criteria. By the way, anyone can find this information on our website. It's the cell modeling analysis. And a more realistic number for a DePIN project, I think, is in the range of 1 million stations, and which is what Helium achieved, basically, and proved that is possible. And for comparison, the largest meteorological organization in the world, the US one, NOAA, currently operates 14,000 stations.
So you're right there.
So we're nearly there. So there has never been a network of stations that was growing so fast and so large ever in the history of meteorology, basically. And of course, the hardware that we use, devices like this one, they are not the same with what the governments are using, but we monitor more or less the same variables. We monitor temperature, humidity, pressure, wind speed, direction, and precipitation, which is a full-blown weather station. So this is the affordable version of the big things, basically, and it's easy to deploy, energy and communication autonomous. So we collect the same data, more or less.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then last question on demand side, like as much as you can share about revenue numbers, who the customers are, at least the types of customers, what the use cases are. So
for an extended period, we were doing free pilots with large enterprises. We started I think one of the first customers that got in touch with us was PG&E in California. They wanted weather stations in the forests. They had no cellular coverage. So they had to use some kind of alternative wireless. So we went there with helium and Starlink backhaul for the helium gateways.
Wow.
So we did a lot of similar projects with large enterprises. We had stations in every event, every location of the Olympic Games in Paris last summer.
That's cool.
We have lots of customers from the energy space. We know a lot of farmers are using our weather stations, but while we were building the supply, we didn't focus so much on the demand side because, I mean, we don't have infinite resources in terms of the team size. We recently launched our B2B portal, let's say, the demand side services,
Cool.
in a more mature version than what we were using the first 2 years. So now we're just getting started, basically charging customers for the forecast services and the historical data that we provide. So now we're working with dynamic line rating energy companies who need very precise weather data around the cable lines, similar to the PG&E use case, so they can make sure that they are not overheating basically the cables, expanding them, and the wind is not gonna force them to touch each other and cause a fire. We have customers from the maritime, the port of Athens.
Shipping and logistics.
Yeah, is a customer. We deployed 32 weather stations inside the port. So we are doing like a very, very detailed analysis of turbulence, wind speed within the corridors of containers. And that's for safety reasons because they had containers moving because of high wind speeds. I mean, in terms of revenue, I think we're somewhere in the range of $300,000 to $400,000. This is a small revenue.
Nice. I like hearing real numbers, though.
Yeah, well, it's a small revenue for the size of the network that we have, but we're just getting started.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And then last question, I think we'll touch more on it later, but I know you guys are multi-chain, started on Arbitrum, now have a presence on Solana as well. What's it been like working with Solana, being in the Solana community? Just what's the Solana experience been like overall?
I think it's great. I think basically the way we approached it, it gives us the ability to, bridge and benefit from all ecosystems. So RTG was on mainnet, but the rewards are on Arbitrum, but we do special projects in Solana. We did last year the Swissword project, which is something that we call targeted rollouts. In a sense, it's additional incentives to expand the network to the direction that we want. And the way that it works is we ask users to subsidize the cost of hardware. So we're in a position to give the hardware for free to deployers that we know can do a good job in the areas that we care.
Nice.
And that's how the network was established here in Nairobi, in Kenya, through BLCK IoT. So yeah, all this happened on the Solana ecosystem. And so it wouldn't be possible in a way somewhere else because Solana has more mature users on the DePIN side of thinking and understanding. So as things become more complicated, you need this maturity basically to collaborate with the users.
Yeah, Solana's definitely got the best DePIN ecosystem out of any blockchain, I think. Last question is, where do you want to direct our listeners to learn more about WeatherXM or to get involved with your project?
Yeah, so weatherxm.com is our website for the company. We have the DAO side is a different entity association, so it's weatherxm.net or network. So you can find out about the hardware, the product on one side, and the tokenomics, the more crypto stuff on the other website. WeatherXM also has a huge community on Discord,
cool.
And we also have mobile apps on Android and iOS. So they look like ordinary weather apps, but they connect to all the weather stations, so they give you hyperlocal data. So if you are lucky to have a station nearby, you get a way better forecast than the traditional ones. And our Twitter social pages, I guess.
There we go.
They have a ton of information there. Our blog too. So yeah, any will work.
Awesome. Well, Manolis, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.